I'm on a beautiful stretch of National Trust land, which is very near to Cemaes Bay in Anglesey, and this is the view that you get around here. And at the far end of the beach, on the northern end, there's a collection point for plastic which I recently put in here, and it's only fixed into the boulders. And this was a sign made out of driftwood and bits of string that was left on the beach. And this video is all about collecting plastic and the origin of the plastic that we find on the beaches these days. And I'm hoping to show you collections that I've made and various items that we can all be sure that to try to make sure that we don't put them into the marine environment. Now this bag here is the sixth sack that has been here over the last couple of months, and it was actually placed there by somebody else because I filled the last 5 sacks, and somebody come across the full sack that I had here and has kindly replaced it. And it slowly gets filled with very small items, and some of these smaller items are more harmful to birds and than the bigger items, because they can swallow them, and eventually they die. And this is the last one that I filled, and these are the ideal sacks because you can put them, and I think they're a vegetable fibre, I think, rather than plastic, and the air will blow through and they're less likely to blow away even when they're weighted down. I've found quite a few of these over the winter, and they get washed up on the beach, and some of them are quite intact, some are damaged. I think maybe the damaged ones get thrown. The ones that are intact, possibly they get washed off a quay somewhere or off the boat itself. This one's travelled up 250 miles from Southwest Island. Guys, you're welcome to come and pick it up if you want. These 20 litre 5-gallon oil drums, they get washed up quite often on the beach here, and what I do, rather than just throw them into the skip or into the I recycle them myself. It gets bits of rope here as well. I just make something to carry wood for the fire. You can see you can just chop the tops off and repurpose them for something useful. Here I have 2 collections made about 5 days apart off the same beach. On the left I have what you can stuff into 2 pockets in your jacket, and on the right is just what I held in one hand as I was carrying something else in another. And let's just have a look at see what kind of stuff we're getting coming washed up on the old beaches. Loads of these cotton buds. I mean, I think they're getting washed down through the sewage system, through the water treatment plant, and the cotton buds, this is what comes through the system. I don't think the filters that they have will stop them coming back into the sea, and they're all over the place on every beach I go to, and there's no reason that they need to be there, because people shouldn't flush them down the toilet, down the lavatory. What else have we got here? All sorts of things. The green string is commercial fishermen's string, and they get just thrown overboard when they're not being used, when they don't want them. They could take them back. The nylon line, the fishing line, anglers, it's inevitable, and there's no blame on them. They get caught in the seaweed, and the line breaks, and then it just gets bundled up into a big ball like this. And unfortunately the birds, the seabirds, they'll put them in the bottom of the nests, and the young get trapped and caught in them, and the legs get caught up, and that's one of the unfortunate consequences of that. But all we can do with that is to pick it up. And these things here, these are deadly. I once found a seagull. This is what will hold a 6-pack of beer, and I once saw a seagull down where I live, and its neck was being constricted by the it had put its head right through, and it was getting weaker and weaker. He couldn't feed properly, and I just couldn't catch it, and I don't know what happened. It probably died. What else? The cable ties, lots of cable ties all over the place as well. You know, they just get thrown from wherever. Drinking straws, plastic drinking straws. You know, when I was a kid, they were just kind of paper, waxed paper. You know, why can't they be that? Also, bottle tops, a lot of. And the next time I went, I just kept everything in one, stuffed everything in one hand. This is remains of a lobster pot. You still see some of the metal of the pot there. That's another kind of unfortunate thing, but it's unavoidable. You know, these lobster pots get caught, and they get lost at sea, and eventually they get washed up on the beach somewhere. Somebody just cast this overboard from some passing ship, I think. Shower gel, just about. I mean, I might just use that. And what we see, you know, the usual kind of plastic throwaway things, like milk, little one-off milk things. Smoking kills. I'm sure it does, but it'll kill other things after the smoker too. It'll kill the birds, and who knows what'll eat this, a turtle or a dolphin or whatever, I don't know. It wouldn't do them any good. Now these plastic bottles, I mean, this is kind of an obvious kind of thing that gets washed up, but really only 50% of these things are being recycled at the moment. But this is the prime example. I mean, these things are easily recyclable, and I think if the local authorities can put plastic bins next to the litter bins on the seafront, that'll help a lot, and they can just have a separate bin for all the plastics. Big clump of angler's line here, but there's a lot of this, and rope ends with knots, and I get a lot of these. And they just get thrown overboard from some commercial boat. I mean, this is a piece of rope, a strand of a rope there. That's it. I think that's just 2 lots here, and it's just an ongoing thing. Next time there's an onshore wind, there'll be a lot more as well, and it's the same all round. So the more people that pick this stuff up, the better, I think.